These bolts were 3mm by 18mm long with a 0.5 pitch. Well, hey folks, welcome back. We're still working on the 69 Ford, and if you guys have watched the last two videos, you know I've had issues with my dome light trying to get it to work. I knew it didn't have a great ground, so I got that figured out. I also knew that it was getting 12 volts to the source, to the light, but it flickered whenever I turned the switch on. I couldn't figure it out. Well, I suspected at the moment it was definitely the switch. Well, I've pretty much confirmed that it is the switch, and I'm going to try to fix it, but let me show you what I got sorted out real quick before I jump in there and show you how I'm going to disassemble a switch that's not meant to be disassembled and repair it. So here's the switch right here. Where's my pointer? Okay, there's a bunch of contacts here. I don't know what all of them are, but I do know that this is my 12 volt source, and this right here is what sends 12 volts to the dome light. So the rheostat's right here, that's for your dimmer, but when you turn the knob all the way to the left, you hear a click. It goes into an indent, and that's supposed to at that point in time send 12 volts right here straight to the dome light. It's not doing that. Well, it sort of is. I can't explain why I'm getting 12 volts up there, but it's not turning the light on. So I suspect some very dirty contacts inside of here. So to confirm that, I went and put a jumper wire on the plug that goes on here, and I'll show you what I found. All right, here's the plug. I got a jumper wire here. Plug that in then into the one that goes up to the dome light. Plug this one into power, and what do you know? Dome light works. So that confirms that I don't have a problem in the wiring or anything. It's just in the switch. So we're going to head over to the bench and we're going to disassemble something that's not meant to be serviced by the owner. Alright, here's the switch. Time to start disassembling it. First part is to get the knob out. The way to do that is pull it all the way out. There's a button on the bottom, you push it in and it comes right out. And then the rheostat looks like, it appears I can get it out right kind of like this, I think. I kind of sort of want to get this out of the way before I take this apart so parts don't go flying. There we go. Try to stack this up in the order it came out. Very carefully. Okay. So I got 3 little replacement bolts here. 3mm by 18. Couldn't find any imperial sizes that small at the hardware store, so I went with metric. One of the reasons why I really wanted to try to repair it is because right in the back it says made in the USA. So that'd be cool, because all the reproduction ones are made in China or Taiwan or something. So it's got 3 rivets. You can see them right here, here, and here. And I'm going to drill out this side just far enough to be able to push it out. Here, here, and here. So very carefully. And it is spinning it, unfortunately. Let's try another one before I take the grinder to the other side of the rivet. Actually, I think I busted that one off. I might be able to punch it through. Let's try this one. Alright, we're going to try to force it. One of those. Need a small hammer. And that. That's not tall enough. It might be a socket. Hey, it worked. I got that metal so thin it just folded right in. Alright, let's carefully do the rest without this thing exploding into a million pieces. Alright, I'm going to do myself a favor here before I do the last one. Get some tape wrapped around this thing. So I can control the disassembly. I don't need a rapid, unplanned disassembly here. Alright, so I did get the right size bolt. I did crack the plastic there just a tiny bit. I think we're okay though. Alright. There's some of this dust. Let's see what she looks like on the inside, and hopefully I don't have any springs or anything go flying. I actually can feel a spring right now. And it feels like it's under. Okay. That spring is part of the release mechanism for the, or I think it was. Or maybe been that detent. Okay, so does this part come apart or is it all one? Okay, this seems to be all one piece. Alright, so contacts we're looking at. Main power comes in here. This one goes out to the dome light. Is that it? Don't tell me that's it. Let's take a look at our rheostat here. Is there something that comes around? Yep, sure enough. Okay, so it looks like that's the contact. It Doesn't look terrible. There's some dielectric grease in here. Doesn't look bad. I am going to clean it though. So here's all our other different lights. Well, I hope I get this put back together right. Because the way these two things fell out of there, this spring and this little piece of metal, I don't know where they go. So I think I know where they go. I think this might be the part that keeps the knob right here from coming out. Let's test that theory here. Yeah. Okay. I can see that goes probably about like that. And that ball bearing is part of the detent. And this spring is probably part of it. Yeah. Let's see, what other? Got a contact back here. That looks bright and shiny. Same with that one. It's this one right here. Let's see with the voltmeter where we are losing continuity. These wires get tangled up every time I put this thing down. Okay. So as it sits, I should get continuity from here to the power. Let's test that theory. Got continuity on the meter. No, not getting any. Alright, so main power comes right there. I'm getting nothing. Because that dome light should work whether any of the other lights work are on or off. It doesn't matter. Let me go look something up. Alright, I dug around a little bit and looked at the schematic a little bit better, and it turns out that this is a power supply for all your headlights and your headlights and your park lights. This is a power supply that is specifically just for your dome light and other accessory lights such as that. So there's nothing wrong with this switch. It actually works. There's nothing wrong with it. I am going to clean it up. I wiped all the old dielectric grease out of there. I'm going to polish these contacts up here and here and put some new dielectric grease in there, just a little bit, and put it back together and proceed on with figuring out why my power source right here is not producing enough juice. But let's clean first. looks pretty good. All these ones look pretty clean. This one right here could use a little bit of polishing. Go ahead and get this one too. Oops. That should do it. So that's going to make clean contact with right there now. Alright, we're going to put this thing back together. So I did figure out how it goes together. Alright, so, oh, I need to polish these up real quick. Let's do that first. Okay, now that's clean. So there is a little spring right in here. Okay, that's where this ball bearing rides. Come on, get off there. And that's your detent for when you pull the knob in and out, and it detents in these little spots right here on the bottom plate. Okay, so we're going to dump that. Well, before we go any further here, this spring goes in here. I accidentally magnetized this a while back, and it's helpful sometimes, not very helpful other times. Okay, that's how that goes, and it goes this direction, pointing this way, but we're doing it upside down. We're putting it together upside down. So this goes in like this, and then you assemble like this. Alright, but before we go that far, I gotta clean up. Gotta wipe some of this grease off of here. And I'm gonna put some new grease on all these contacts. And I'll just go ahead and use dielectric grease on everything here, because everything's electrical in here, might as well. Just in case this stuff will settle a little bit, let me get rid of the first bit out of here. It's been sitting in my toolbox for a while. Okay. Don't need to go crazy with this stuff. A little goes a long way. Okay. The next component is this little mechanism here. Put the ball in there. Get some grease off of this little spring here. Old grease. I don't think any grease is really needed right there. I'm going to put a little extra. There's this horsefly flying around here. I'm trying to kill him all morning. He's lucky. That goes there. Then along the bottom here, put some grease. I'll try to match the amount that was there originally. All right. Get my new little bolts out here. Okay. Goes on this direction. And I've got to put the bolts in from this way, otherwise they won't go. And this one. Not much room for that one. Oh, but it went anyway. So if anybody's going to do this and restore one of their switches, like I just did, these bolts were 3mm by 18mm long with a 0.5 pitch. And I got them at Ace Hardware, and they're organized very weird. You're going to find lots of the bolts, but you're going to have to search for the nuts in the drawer. There's only one drawer at most Ace Hardwares that has the 3mm nut. Alright, got a screwdriver. Screwdriver that's not going to fit. Let me get a different screwdriver. This one work? Yep. Test this real quick. All three positions, and when it's pushed all the way in, you should not be able to release it. Oh, it did anyway. Let's get the rest of this part back together. Alright, so this doohickey went right here. Spring. There. Seems to be about right. Wonder if this is the detent I feel when I'm clicking it into the dome-like position. I don't know if this is a contact that needs to be cleaned, but it's nice and green, so I'm going to clean it up anyway. Now, best way to put this back together is, I don't know. I think I've already forgotten. Better get my camera out. I got a picture. Yeah, okay. So this goes like this. Spring goes here, like that. At least that's what, oh, and this clocks in to those slots right there. So I should be able to theoretically squeeze all this together and just drop it all in. Gotta get this thing turned so that little nub sticks out the bottom right there. Might need some encouragement. There we go, got it in there. Did not get. Okay. Yeah, that is the detent right there for the dimmer, I mean the dome light. It clicks at the bottom of this plastic thing right here. See right down there? Watch that piece. Yep. Yep. So the first position you pull out is parking lights, then headlights. Then there's your rheostat right here for your dimmer, dash light dimmers, and then click it over. Alright, so I just got to solve the why I'm not getting the right amount of, it's showing like 4 volts coming here. And that, honestly, that could be right. 4.5, 5 volts. Maybe I have the wrong bulb in there. We're gonna go try it out. Okay, check it out. There's the light. And we're good. Let me show you what it ended up being. Well, it was probably a combination of a lot of things. And it was a lot of dirty contacts inside the switch here. And this fuse right there. Right there on the left side. That one just had a bunch of dirty, the contacts in there were dirty. Fuse was good, but the voltage trickling across it was intermittent and was not producing much more than 5 volts or so. So we put this thing back in and we got a dome light, and now all the lights work now. Every single light on this truck now works and functions the way it's supposed to. Alright guys, hope you enjoyed that short video. Hope it was educational and you learned something. I certainly did. The 69 Ford that's been sitting for 20 years or so, all the electrical contacts are dirty. That's what I learned. Yeah, they were just all dirty and cruddy, and now everything's working smoothly and flawlessly, and we're one step closer to daily driving it. What is next actually? Oh, steering column. The turn signal switch, I got to replace that. I got a brand new one, and I'm going to completely remove the rat's nest of wiring that's underneath there from the previous swap from a manual transmission steering column to an automatic. When that happened, they just chopped it off, and then kind of, you know, they did a good job putting it together. It works, but it's not very pretty, so I'm going to make it pretty. And that'll allow me to tuck those wires up underneath the dash and make it all look basically the way it's supposed to be, and they won't be in the way. So thanks for watching. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button, notification bell, so you don't miss future videos, and I'll see you next time. Laters.